Did you want to give everyone one more minute and then get started, Greg?
Still getting some people dripping in. Okay, it looks like it's kind of stable. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Does that sound good? All right. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Gearhart. I'm Deputy Director for Information Management and Analysis at the State Water Board. Welcome to our workshop. We are hosting this today with the enthusiasm of bookending March's Water Data Month. This is maybe the third year in a row we've tried to emphasize water data and lift up and support the larger water data community. This year's event on this workshop is intended to celebrate that, but also provide something back. And so we have extended the invitation to people outside of our water board organization. I hope that we get some today. We really wanted to provide sort of like an open office hours environment for our community, so that if they have questions, they want to play with some data, they want to get some feedback in some areas, that's what today is all about. And we really just want to honor the hard work that everyone does year round to build out these data ecosystems that support important decisions, operational decisions, research questions, all sorts of things. You know, everyone's job and everyone's work is important. And in a time of drought and pressure, there's ripple effects onto every part of our water data landscape. And so this work that you all do is very, very important to me and to the water board, and we just want to acknowledge that. And thank you for being here. So I'm going to hand it over to Devin, and I'll be around. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. And thanks for everyone joining us this morning. My name is Devin Burke. I'm with the State Water Board in the Office of Information Management and Analysis. I'll be providing logistic and technical support today. As a reminder, we are recording, and you'll be able to find these recordings on the College of Water Informatics page. We'll get some of that linked in the chat, I'm sure. And before we jump into talking with our subject matter experts, I want to outline the agenda for you today. So we've broken up the event in two main parts. The first part is meant to highlight data visualization projects focusing on the Power BI and Tableau, covered by two of our subject matter experts, who I'll introduce in a moment. And then we'll go into our second half, where we'll split into two breakout rooms. You are prompted when registering to select Power BI or Tableau. So we've already got you set up with the correct group based on your selection. And once you go into the breakout rooms, our subject matter experts will also join you. And the main purpose of those rooms is to provide, as Greg mentioned, an open format, kind of a flex space for you to engage with our experts or bring up questions regarding what was presented or maybe projects you are working on. Okay, on to our subject matter experts. With us today, we have Power BI experts, Bev Anderson-Abbs and Allison Callalang, and covering Tableau, Rafa Maestu. Bev's gonna start us off with Power BI. So Bev, take it away.
Hi, I'm Bev Anderson-Abbs. I'm going to start with a brief PowerPoint to just sort of give the basics of Power BI. Obviously, in this short amount of time, we can't cover near what you would want to know about Power BI, but we'll give it a shot. And I have only one screen, so I'm going to be struggling to get everything working here. So my apologies. Oh, wait. Share screen. Okay, so as a brief introduction, I believe that's in presenter mode. Can anyone let me know?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. As a brief introduction, Microsoft Power BI or Power Business Intelligence is a way of visualizing data in a very simple manner. I'm going to start out going over a brief overview of what Power BI is and does, go through the workflow. If I have time, I'll go through a brief demo and examples, and then provide you with some information on how to get started. So Power BI, much like Tableau, is an interactive reporting tool. It allows you to connect to and transform and visualize data from pretty much any location you can find it. You can pull data in directly from Excel files. You can pull data out of PDF files. You can directly connect to Waterboard flat files or other data that you can access online. And there are two main components to Power BI. There's the desktop version, which hopefully everyone was able to get downloaded. This is a free application, and it allows you to connect and shape your data and build those interactive reports. It's got a ton of functionality in it that you don't get quite as much in the second component, which is Power BI Service. Once you've built your desktop version of an interactive report, you can upload that to the Power BI Service. And this allows you to view the reports. It allows you to share them. You can download them as PDFs or as PowerPoints. Gives you a lot of ability to show your data in various ways to other people. So the workflow on this is that you start with Power BI Desktop, and this is where you can connect to your data sources. It allows you to clean and transform the data. If you've been working with data, you probably know that sometimes you get data in what's called a wide format, and you may need it in a long format. You can do that in a one-step function in Power BI and get your data into a long format that's quite often more machine readable. And then it allows you to create those visualizations. From there, you can publish your data, which is a simple matter of hitting the word publish on the desktop version, and it'll go into the service. And from the Power BI service, you can view that report. You can share it, as I mentioned, if you have a license, which is just a matter of asking DIT to add you to the licensing. And if you have a direct connection to data, you can set it up for a scheduled refresh so that you don't have to continually download and upload data that you're using. And this just goes really briefly through some of the desktop features where you can connect to one or more data sets. If you have data that's not all in one data set, one Excel file or one flat file, you can pull in whatever you need. And as long as there's a unique identifier, you can get them to talk to each other. You can connect those data sets. If you're adding data sets from year to year, you can make those connections within Power BI. You can pull in data sets from different sources, reformat those data, and then if you need calculations, if you need custom columns, this can all be done within the Power BI desktop environment. So briefly, I'm going to shut down the PowerPoint and just pull up a visualization that I have, if I can find the one I want. So this is a visualization that's built off of a number of different data sets. And you can see here, this is the area where you can choose what you want to show. So what this visualization is, it's looking at linguistic isolation in communities around California. And what I did was pulled in data from the Cal EnviroScreen 4.0 that was put up recently by OEHA, and then also pulled in census data for languages spoken in California. Those two data sets have a common characteristic of census tracts. So I was able to join those two data sets and start pulling in and creating visualizations that draw from both of those data sets. So in this case, I've got a number of different filters on this page. Over here, if you want to look specifically at disadvantaged communities, you can use a filter over there and it'll filter everything on that page. You can very simply go to a California county if you want to look at it. And I've got this set up. So if I drill into the counties, it will open up the cities in a specific county. And if you want to look at even more detail, you can go down to census tracts. And then those different things can be used to filter the data themselves. So everything on this page is set up to be a filter. And it's very simple to do that. Some other features that you can do is create maps. So in this case, I had lat-long data. I can create a map, and this one is simply set to open directly on the Sacramento area. Just hovering over these circles will tell you a lot about, give you the information behind that circle. So in this case, I've got it set up so that it will show what's the major language in this area that's non-English. And in this case, it's Spanish. How many people speak Spanish in this area? Our second language is Russian, and third is Laotian. And just move around here. Again, on this page, there are a number of filters that you can use. So we've got the disadvantaged communities. You can select for certain counties. In this case, because I've selected a city already, it took us down to the counties that were associated with that. And then I can also filter on linguistic isolation score. So if I only want to look at the most isolated areas, I can use that filter, and there's apparently not a lot of high isolation areas in the Sacramento region. And then another one here is the percent languages. And again, adding some filters here. We pulled in the regional office. So if you just want to focus on a region, you can choose that. You can do the disadvantaged communities again. And then for those of you who are really strongly into using coding, the Power BI has added R and Python coding fields. So if you like to use R, you can just go, you can start a page, click on the R script visual, and you can put in your R script right here. So if I add cleanup sites, it'll start your coding for you, and you can just carry on with the coding, and that will save as R code, and likewise Python code. And it creates the visuals that you would normally get out of R, and you have a little more flexibility here. Once you've created your visual, you can use the formatting system to change the colors and move things around and add titles and things like that. So a lot of functionality in this. And then for Power BI, they give a limited number of types of visualizations here. If what you want is not shown, and you can just hover over anything and see what it is that the visualization is showing, you can click on these three, or this ellipses, and go to get more visuals, and you have virtually any kind of visualization you want to get out of that. So you can add those to your Power BI and do whatever visualizations you want. And I'm probably running out of time, so I will try to go back and unshare, and it's not wanting me to unshare. Oh, yeah, go back to my PowerPoint. And there's, on the PowerPoint, there's some basic information on how to get started, some of the resources associated with Power BI, places to go for more information. And generally for Power BI, it's been around long enough now that there's a ton of data out there. There's a ton of ways to find out how to do things. So with that, I'm going to give the presentation back to Devin.
I think to Rafa. Rafa, can you share your screen? You're on mute, Rafa.
I think I'm sharing the screen now. Okay, let me just very quickly. Thank you, Bev. This was great, very interesting. I learned a lot about Power BI. I use it at the beginning, but I kind of like a focus on myself on using Tableau instead. So Tableau pretty much it does the same things that Power BI can do with a few different advantages in terms of what you can do actually work with the data yourself and how you share that data and publish it on the server or publish it for other people to connect to. So I'm going to be going through when we meet with the Tableau group, I'm going to go into the details about how do you really start using Tableau, how do you transform the data, and how do you integrate the data with maps, how do you actually connect to data sets, how do you share your work, and how do you connect to other resources. But I'm not going to be doing this now because it will take a lot of time. But really, I want to go back to something that Bev was mentioned, and it's really the importance of transforming your data, understanding the data lifecycle, and connecting to your data, making the transformations, and then sharing that information and communicate that information with others. So OIMA has been focusing on three areas, which is the data that we have, working on the data sets that are machine readable, that are easy to use, and also on the tools. So the part of the tools are the business intelligence tools, which also ARC, R and ArcGIS, and other tools that we use to transform and use data. But today, what we are trying to focus is on you, is on the users, on the people who actually has to use that data and make sense out of it. As you already know, probably our data system is very complex. We have multiple data sources in different formats with different frequency that is uploaded. So every program is kind of working in isolation. And one of the things that we are trying to do is to find a platform like Tableau where all those data sets are already publicly available to you to work with. Again, there's here some references on how you actually can pull data directly from our databases and servers, and where you can find that data already. But we also, what we also did is actually to put that data into the Tableau server. So these are what we call the curated data sets, where you can connect to directly. They've been transformed for you. They are probably updated very frequently. And then you can trust that data, and then you can start using that data directly from the Tableau server. Again, this Tableau is not the only one. You can even Microsoft Excel is a business intelligence tool if you know how to use pivot tables. But again, we really like both Power BI and Tableau. There were two events for me. I've been working for the Water Board for 22 years, and they were like this moment in time that transformed my ability to use data. Once was when Excel came out with the pivot tables. That was a huge improvement in the way we could analyze the data. And the second one has been now the business intelligence tools like Tableau and Power BI. So I'm just gonna do something similar that Bev did, which I wasn't really prepared for that, which is really showing you the things you can actually do with data. I have my own personal site where I built already 333 visualizations, which is kind of like shows my curiosity with data. So I go find some data and I see what I can do with it. One of the ones that are actually on the website, the Water Board's website, is this one. It's about the human right to water. safer. We update this quarterly. See if I can make this full screen. And this is really a combination of, these are the systems, the drinking water systems that are on the human right to water portal. The good thing about it is you can click on any system and it will zoom on into the service area for that system, and also will give you the details of that system. In this case, it gives you the population, how many service connections they have, the type of violations they have. In this case, they have arsenic. They have 31 violations of arsenic. They also, we're also showing how much financial assistance have they received from the water boards. In this case, it's been $347,000. This data is coming from our Division of Financial Assistance database. So I had to integrate the data from our SIDWIS database to the database from our LGTS data system. So it was an interesting way of, we had to put those two data sets together. But then again, you have multiple ways of filtering the data. And you can click on any of the system and you can show where they are, the service area, if they have why they are in the human right to water, and a description of the project that we are working on to help. Again, this is actually on our public website, and so anybody can access it. I think it's been very useful to explain the problems we have with the drinking water system. You can also navigate here to a more sophisticated way of looking at the data that analyzes all the information together. In this case, there are 867,000 people in California who are in the human right to water because their water is either not safe to drink, it's not affordable, or it's not reliable. But again, you can filter by multiple criteria, the same thing that Bev was showing. But this is just one of the many different tools that we have. And you can see, I mean, I've really probably covered every single area of interest for the water boards. I haven't really tried these ones. This is very interesting just because the sewer spills are interesting. But what I like about this one, see if I can actually make it full screen, is that it's not only showing you where the sewer spills are occurring, but when you click on a particular location, it connects to the CWIX or database for the sewer spills. It gives you the actual details of that spill directly from that report. So this is an object embedded into the visualization. I think that actually helps you navigate the data in a much more efficient way. You can also, when you click on that, you can actually look at the actual operational report, and it will open a different page. All these reports are publicly available, so there's nothing really. This is actually public information, but I think it's a much more effective way of really navigating the data. The difference between the Power BI and the Tableau, really one of the things that we have a server, and the server is where you can actually find all the resources and all your data. In this case, if you go to the exploring window and look at the data sources, we have organized all the data sources either because it's geospatial data or because it's any other type of data sources. And here, then we have data for the different programs. If we go to the Division of Water Quality, for example, we have all these resources and data sets that it can be used directly by all the staff. And again, this is accessible to all the staff, to the 2,700 employees at the water boards, and they can actually look at each one of these data sets and start working with them right away, knowing that this data is being curated, is being frequently updated, and it's probably coming directly from the CWIX database. So it's something that they can rely on looking at the data themselves. And this is how you actually build a new workbook, and you can start working right away of building, your visualizations in any way you want. And I'm going to get more into the details on how to do this once when we get into the breakout rooms. And that's it. I hope that you get excited and want to join me later.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bev and Rafa. I am about to send everyone to their breakout rooms. A few reminders. I'll be staying in the main room, so if anyone has technical issues, I can provide support here. I will send out time checks as we're nearing 11, and at 11, I'll bring everyone back to the main room just to close. And then Allison and Rafa, please remember to hit record when you're in your breakout rooms so we can add those recordings to our College of Water Informatics site as well. There are some really good links in the chat for everyone. There's a link to Rafa's visit that he just showed. We also have links to the College of Water Informatics event site where, again, all of these recordings will be posted, and I will be in the main room if anyone needs assistance. So I will send you all off now. Thanks. Hi, Janine, Ryan, David, Nick. You guys should have a prompt to go to your breakout room. Let me know if you need help.
Hi, Devin. I just sent you a message. I was hoping to switch from Tableau to Power BI, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me make this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.